Start.
Just we have seen the description of the pH meter. Then we will see what are the experiments specifically present in your corresponding syllabus with respect to the titration. I think in your 11th standard you have performed the titration, but one of the new experiments are there, new titration techniques you will be learning under this experiment. And after the titration, you will going to check the quality or characteristics of the water. First, you will see how many experiments are there in your syllabus whose procedure is nothing but the simple titration, or another name of the titration is nothing but the volumetric analysis. We will going to see there is nothing but one experiment, determination of alkalinity. In this experiment you will be performing the volumetric analysis or titration. Then another next experiment, that is nothing but determination of the chloride content. The procedure of this chloride content determination is again the titration. And third experiment you will be having, that is nothing but determination of hardness. This is also having the titration phenomenon or titration procedure, as well as the volumetric analysis, whatever you may name it as. Then determination of the dissolved oxygen, very important experiment in your environmental engineering 1 also. They have introduced this experiment newly in your syllabus. And why this is introduced newly? Because there is a huge importance of the dissolved oxygen in determining the water supply characteristics also, or source water characteristics also. Suppose we want to check the pollution of the river also, we will have to measure the dissolved oxygen. This is also the titration experiment. And total 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 experiments are having the titrometric procedure or volumetric analysis we will going to use. Volumetric analysis means simply I will show you with the help of one diagram, because during the practical session, I am going to display every experiment's procedure. During that procedure you will easily able to understand what is the color change, what are the chemicals which are used. Up till now just I will show you one diagram how the procedure of titration is there. In this corresponding experiment, suppose this is nothing but the stand. In this stand we will going to place a burette here. Okay, this is nothing but the stand which is available in our laboratory. And suppose this is nothing but the burette. I am discussing about the general procedure of the titration, and each and every characteristics we will be discussing one by one when we will see the actual procedure and importance of every experiment. 4 experiments are there in your syllabus which deals directly with the titration. In this case we will have this corresponding apparatus. Burette is there, this stand is there to which your burette is connected. Then here you are able to place one sample. Here you are able to place one sample. Same procedure is there for all titration experiment, but what is the difference? Chemical is nothing but the different, indicator is nothing but the different, and change point is nothing but different. Okay, in this small conical flask we will going to place the sample for all this experiment, and volume may be different according to the procedure. And with this sample you are going to add the different indicators. In this sample you are going to add the different indicators. Sample is nothing but what? Sample is nothing but the different water sample. Suppose 2 well sample we have collected, sea water sample we have collected, aquaguard water tap sample we have collected. All these are nothing but the examples of the sample, particularly for this drinking water characteristics. And that sample we are going to place in this conical beaker, and 2 to 3 drops of every different indicators we are going to add. And after we will going to observe any color change. When we will going to observe any color change, that is nothing but simply the end point of your corresponding titration. This is nothing but the simple procedure of volumetric analysis. And with the help of this volumetric analysis procedure, common principle just I have told, and with the help of this volumetric analysis procedure you will going to determine alkalinity, determination of chloride content, determination of hardness, and determination of the dissolved oxygen. It is one of the very important and unique experiment of which is introduced newly in our syllabus. And alkalinity, it is also one of the important experiment. Why? Because you have performed the titration in your 12th or first year engineering also, but alkalinity 2-stage titration is there. You will going to use at a time 2 indicators. Okay, very unique experiment, determination of alkalinity. Chloride content is also one of the important experiment. particularly suppose you are facing the saline water or salty water is there at the site, then what should be the maximum minimum permissible limit that you will going to discuss, and with the help of procedure you are going to determine the chloride content, and we will going to use the volumetric analysis procedure. And hardness is also one of the important experiment. Till date you are knowing only the meaning of the hardness, but what are the
Start.
determination of the hardness? सर परत एकदा सांगा. Determination of hardness होतं.
Start.
Fourth experiment which I have written here, that is nothing but determination of hardness. And till date you are knowing, most of you are knowing the meaning about the hardness, but what is the importance of this hardness with respect to the water, particularly drinking water we are going to see. And till date you are knowing about the hardness, but what are the different types of the hardness, what are the different sources are there from which hardness it adds hardness to the water, why water become hard water, what is the difference between the hard water and soft water, what is the procedure for this experiment. We will have a general discussion when we will see actual setup and actual titration of this experiment. I will going to share you one video with respect to the determination of hardness separately, as well as talking about the chloride content, particularly talking about the chloride content. Similar titration you are able to observe, and methods used for chloride titration, that is nothing but the Mohrs method. Very important method in determination of the chloride content. Why? Because along with the dissolved oxygen, this experiment is newly introduced in your syllabus. Why this experiment is introduced? Because suppose you are working at the site, and suppose you are using that site for site water for preparation of making of the concrete. If you are facing the salty water 100%, if RCC construction is there, steel reinforcement is there. If steel reinforcement is there, and if you are using the salty water for preparation of the concrete, 100% your steel reinforcement gets corroded. There are a lot of chances of deterioration of the steel. Okay, due to that, this experiment is newly introduced. Hence, with the help of volumetric analysis, we will going to have a separate video with respect to this determination of the chloride content. Then, particularly talking about the last experiment, which belongs to the titration category, that is nothing but the determination of the dissolved oxygen. In the next sem, we will also have a unique experiment, that is BOD, biochemical oxygen demand. But in order to know that BOD, you should know what is the dissolved oxygen. Hence, this is nothing but the basic test which is used to determine the corresponding BOD. Okay, after determining the dissolved oxygen, easily you are able to determine the biochemical oxygen demand. But in the next sem we will see the BOD, because its characteristic directly related to the wastewater. Okay, or in our lab we will having this apparatus, and the name of the apparatus is known as the BOD incubator. In this various parameters are there, switch is there, and in this corresponding BOD test apparatus we will going to place here the sample, and we will going to measure the corresponding characteristics. Okay, one sample is kept here. In this corresponding bottle we will going to perform the DO, and same bottle we will going to perform the BOD, and this is known as the DO bottle, which is used for measurement of the dissolved oxygen. And dissolved oxygen and BOD, for this dissolved oxygen test, after performing or adding certain chemicals, we will going to measure the DO directly in the laboratory with the help of titration. And one sample we will going to keep here, same sample as we have used for determination of the DO, and after 5 days we will going to again measure the DO, and difference between the dissolved oxygen of day 1 and difference between the dissolved oxygen of day 5, that is nothing but the BOD. Okay, very important parameter in the corresponding environmental engineering, and BOD you will going to see what is the importance in the next sem. But in this sem, just I have shown you the application of this corresponding experiment. Next experiment we will be using this corresponding BOD incubator, and dissolved oxygen I will share you the procedure, the experiment separately, which are the indicators, what are the different types of the reagents which are used in order to determine the dissolved oxygen. Okay, if one newly experiment introduced in your syllabus, you will see in detail. I will make you one different video or separate video for determination of this dissolved oxygen. Okay, all these experiments you have seen with respect to the titration. Then we will move towards the another experiment, that is nothing but the turbidity. In our laboratory we will having one experiment. Directly with the help of that experiment we will going to measure the turbidity. Let's see the working of this corresponding equipment which is available in our laboratory. This equipment is known as the digital turbidity meter, or this experiment is known as the nephelometer. In our theory classes we have discussed that most accurate turbidity meter is nothing but the nephelometer. Less than 0.1 NTU, that is nephelometric turbidity unit, it will going to measure the corresponding readings. It will going to measure the corresponding value of turbidity of any source of water. And this experiment is available in our laboratory. I will be post one different video on this corresponding turbidity meter also. And this equipment, just I will show you certain parts here. These are nothing but the sample cuvettes, or these are known as the bottles, sample bottles, where you are going to place the sample of the water from which source you have brought that sample, and that sample we will going to place here. One holder is there and you are going to place the sample inside this holder, and through the bottom one light is passed through this corresponding sample, and obstruction of the light is direct of quantity of obstruction of light is nothing but directly measurement of the turbidity. For different sample we will going to see here, and how to adjust the range, how to do the calibration, and how to read the corresponding readings or values. We will have a separate discussion on this corresponding experiment, that is nothing but the turbidity. We will have a separate video on the turbidity also. Just I have discussed you about the procedure of the turbidity.
Start.
Next experiment which I have written, experiment number 7, that is nothing but determination of optimum dose of the coagulant. In the theoretical session or theory we have seen coagulation and flocculation. We have seen the coagulation and flocculation, and optimum dose of the coagulant we will see. One equipment or apparatus is available in our laboratory. We will directly visit that apparatus. I will show you the working of this corresponding apparatus as well as how to determine optimum dose of coagulant. This is nothing but the equipment known as the jar test apparatus. Why there is a necessity to determine optimum dose of coagulant? With the help of this apparatus in the field or in the water treatment also, optimum dose of the coagulant is measured, and commonly used coagulant you are knowing, that is nothing but the alum, and with the help of this alum purification of the water or process of coagulation and flocculation is occurring, and with the help of this corresponding alum purification is done. But before adding the alum to the water we should know what is the quantity of the water, and this is nothing but the jar test apparatus. Here you are able to see that different Borosill glass are there or beakers are there, and 1 liter beakers are there, and each and every beaker we will going to add the coagulant in different concentration. We will going to start the switch on. These paddles, you are able to see that these paddles are rotating, means phenomenon of adding the coagulant, mixing the coagulant is occurring here, and that is common or familiar name you are knowing, that is coagulation, flocculation, common thing or common word for this corresponding process. And after adding different dose of the alum, you have to use the optimum dose of the coagulant. And what is the meaning of optimum dose? Dose should not be too large, dose should not be too small. If it is too large, too much of alum you have added, then cost of the water treatment will going to increase, and very less efficiency of coagulation and flocculation will get decreased. Hence, perfect dose or optimum dose is necessary. Should not be maximum, should not be minimum, it should be optimum. That dose is selected, and final answer of that dose you are going to get in mg per liter. but you have solved various example, design of sedimentation tank also. In that we have seen million liters per day is nothing but the quantity of the water required. Hence for 1 liter in our lab we will be employing calculating that dose, and water may be the amount of water, raw water which is coming at your water treatment plant. We are going to just multiply it by that quantity, and that dose in kg we will going to add daily at any water treatment plant. Any water treatment plant designers follow daily these steps, and this test is also a very important step with respect to the, if you want to see the coagulation and flocculation in detail. Without help of this step you are not going to start the coagulation and flocculation process. Also very important experiment which is introduced in your syllabus. I will share you one separate video for of this test, and you will easily able to know what are the different procedure, what are the different chemicals, or what is the complete what we can say complete analysis by the corresponding using the jar test apparatus. We will see. I will post a different video on this test. Okay. Thank you.
Start.
Last experiment we will be performing on our laboratory. That is nothing but the noise pollution levels. In the syllabus, if you have referred the last 2 chapters, 2 important topics are introduced newly in your syllabus, and that is, one is nothing but the air pollution, and second is nothing but the noise pollution. In our laboratory we will having both the experiment equipments, and particularly we will going to perform the noise pollution theory. We will going to see during the lectures, and one equipment is available with us, electronic equipment for directly measurement of the noise. I will show you that equipment, and with the help of this equipment you will easily able to measure the noise. And this equipment is known as the noise level meter, and one charger is connected to it because it is electronically working. After connecting the charger, after charging the battery, this instrument will going to work. These are nothing but the different keys are there which are mentioned on this corresponding apparatus. During the experiment I will show you or what is the meaning of each and every key, how to use the corresponding experiment for determination of the noise pollution. We will going to see in detail. Readings are displayed, and common thing is nothing but noise pollution measurement. You have heard that is noise is measured in the decibel, and that unit is also installed in this corresponding equipment. And how to measure the noise level of different surrounding, what are the IS specifications, or what are the different reading, how you should get that reading, or if after getting the reading how you are going to compare that reading. All that part we will going to see. We will have a separate session on this corresponding noise pollution level, and theoretical part in your syllabus is introduced, and what is the importance of determination of the noise pollution levels, because noise causes the pollution, and noise is air pollutant because transfer of noise is nothing but the air medium. Hence it is included in the air pollution category. Very important experiment, and we will have a separate session on this corresponding experiment. Okay, this all with respect to all the experiments which are there in your syllabus. We will be performing total 8 experiments just as I have discussed. But lastly, I have told you the scope at the starting or importance, or where actually we are checking the characteristics of the water. But there are certain standards, IS codes are there, BIS codes are there, CPHEO manuals are there, and MPCB, CPCB, these are nothing but the, you are knowing, Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board. Because one question in your mind at this stage is nothing but what, sir, we have understood the procedure, we have done the analysis, we have calculated the value, but what is remaining, how to compare with the value, similar to the structural design, as they are comparing with the standard compressive stresses. Stress should not be less than this, stress should not cross this value. Similarly, there are 100% presence of different BIS code, different IS code, different CPCB, MPCB manuals are there, CPHEO manuals are there. These are the agencies which are working in the, particularly in the field of the water supply and wastewater engineering. That manual reference we are going to take, and all that readings we are going to compare with that corresponding value which are present in the IS code, and we will going to give the final judgment that your water is drinkable or not, or your water is suitable for drinking or not. That the judgment we will going to give you after studying the list of all these experiments and 100% sure that you will going to get idea about all the water characteristics. You will become familiar about all the water characteristics, because water is our daily to daily life part. Means water treatment plant, water supply engineer or particularly civil engineer checks the water supply characteristics. If any consultancy is there and that consultancy is working in the water supply, he will going to check the characteristics also. If any engineering college or laboratory is there, basically in the lab we are going to see all the procedure, all the equipment, and that procedure is followed at the outside world. Okay, we will have a very, I will show you very different videos with respect to this corresponding every experiment, and we will have a separate discussion in the next few days. Okay, thank you very much for your corresponding listening of this corresponding session with respect to the experiments of water supply engineering. Thank you once again.